This video is brought to you by EarFun.
If you're looking for an earbud under $50 that fits well and simply sounds good, the EarFun Air 2 is just overall the best you can get right now. As long as you don't need noise cancelling, because you don't get that, but you pretty much get everything else. LDAC high-res, multi-point connections, some of the best app support, and wireless charging all at this price. But today I'll be running through all the details, covering everything you need to know, as well as comparing them to the best earbuds out there. Now, starting with how the buds fit, you're getting a moderately deep fit here. It's very similar design and ergonomics to the AirPods Pro, and you do get 4 sizes of pretty high quality ear tips included. Now, it isn't as light as a pair like the AirPods Pro in the ear, but it's still solid. It's pretty much the same as the EarFun Air Pro 3. And the ear tips included have some really nice grip to them, so they stay in very securely. When I was weight training, I had no issues with the buds even budging out of place. And these would also work great when running. Most stem style earbuds do, due to that weight distribution kind of holding the bud down on your ear and not moving around too much. Just keep in mind, you don't get a transparency mode here to hear your surroundings. But if you like using your earbuds when training, these have an IPX7 waterproof rating. So you could accidentally drop these in a pool or something like that. Best to still avoid it, but you're all good when it comes to sweat, splashes of water, rain, all that stuff. Now, the battery life here is solid. You get 9 hours from the buds and 40 hours in total with the case. That will come down to 5.5 hours with the buds, 23 hours in total with LDAC on. But it's nice to see that brands are actually advertising this. You can wirelessly charge the case, and the case itself is super compact. It's about on par with the AirPods Pro 2 case, and that is the thinnest case out of all the earbuds that I've tested. My only complaint is the hinge is a bit loose and it will close if you angle it down, but not really an issue. Now, these buds are using touch controls. You get a single, double, triple tap, as well as a long hold, and you can adjust volume up and down. And you get amazing customization. You can change the function for each earbud with complete freedom. Sometimes you're limited to what you can change on certain taps. Now, you don't get wearing detection here to automatically pause and play your music, but they got to cut some corners when it comes to cost, so completely fair. And if you're using one earbud at a time, whatever controls you have saved to that earbud will just stay on that one earbud. So you can't save certain controls to a single use. Now, the connectivity here is Bluetooth 5.3, SBC, AAC, and LDAC for your codecs. And I was testing on my Asus Zenfone 10. Going from SBC to LDAC, it was a little bit more noticeable of a difference in sound quality than most earbuds that I've tested, especially with treble detail. So if you're using these on an Android phone, definitely chuck on LDAC if you don't mind losing some battery life. And you can also use one earbud at a time where you leave the other in the case. And when you are using one earbud, it's gonna work in mono mode. So you hear the left and right audio channel out of the one earbud. And the multi-point connection allows you to connect 2 devices to the earbuds at the same time. I tested this on my iPhone 15 Pro and Asus Zenfone 10, and it works seamlessly. You just need to pause playback on one device before you resume it on the other device. And these buds also have a low latency gaming mode. So these are the results I got in my test on iOS and Android. Casual games, 400 milliseconds is okay. You do want to get closer to 200 milliseconds for faster reaction games like shooters. All right, now let's test out the call quality. I'll run through 3 tests: a quiet room, loud simulation kid noise, and a simulation windy city. Keeping in mind the simulation noise is like the worst case scenario testing. It's pretty loud stuff. So if they perform well in these tests, then they'll perform well in pretty much any environment. But here are the samples. All right, here's the call quality of the EarFun Air 2 in a nice quiet room. All right, so now we're testing the ability for the microphones to block out some loud simulation kid noise. All right, here's the call quality of the EarFun Air 2 with some simulation loud kid noise. All right, now we've got some city noise, some construction noise, and some simulation wind. All right, here's the call quality of the EarFun Air 2 with some city noise, wind noise, and some construction noise. All right, next we're going to talk about sound quality, but first let's touch up on volume. If you're looking for loud level listening, you're getting it here because I got 112.3 decibels in my max volume test. Keeping in mind 113 decibels is about on average for most earbuds in any price range. So if you're going above even like 95 decibels, you're in hearing loss territory, so take care of your hearing, please, people. Now, low level listening is just normal here. There's no special EQ to boost the bass and treble at those lower volumes, but you don't really expect it at this price. They still sound nice and balanced at those low volumes. But now onto the tuning itself, you're getting that classic bass boosted EarFun tuning. It's a very exciting tuning. There's quite a bit of focus on the sub bass, giving you a little bit of that subwoofer feeling. So it is slightly on the over the top side, I would say. Definitely not gonna call it balanced. It has a little bit of punch to it, but also not really a punchy bass response. But at the same time, it still doesn't bleed too far into the other frequencies. So it's well matted, over the top, but not getting too crazy, because the mid-range really does cut through that bass nicely. Vocals, both male and female, have nice presence. It's just not center stage and super forward, and at times the vocals can come across a little bit on the thin side. And when it comes to the treble, you're getting pretty solid detail here. I'd say the upper treble is the only real lacking part. You lack a bit of sparkle and kind of detail. So hi-hats, crashes, some horn instruments kind of fall behind very slightly, but still pretty decent for the price here. And this is just the case with all EarFun earbuds that at least I've tested. The upper treble and treble overall is always a little bit lacking, but luckily they give you some very solid EQ customization. You get 10 bands to play with, and you get quite a bit of freedom to improve that treble response. This is a tuning that I like to do, mainly focusing on boosting that upper treble, and it really does improve the sound a bit. And you can only EQ them so much before the treble starts to get a little bit over the top, so anything past this and it gets a little bit sibilant and harsh. But you still get the freedom to make these more on the balance side, bringing that bass down, or you can go super crazy and just bass boost the hell out of these, and these buds rattle. One of the most bass heavy tunings you can push out. Keeping in mind when you go past like 80% volume, you're gonna get some slight, not really distortion, but the bass can get a little bit wobbly, a little bit muddy, but it's fun to play around with. Again, I rarely listen above like 60, 65% volume, but I know a lot of people like to just crank your earbuds at 100%. So I test it out. Short periods of loud level listening is not too bad, but long periods, even over like 5 minutes, you can start to get some hearing loss. So I'm gonna keep saying it, people, take care of it. But now let's run through some sound quality comparisons so you get a good idea of how the sound compares to some earbuds a little bit more expensive, some earbuds on the cheaper side. All these earbuds are gonna be under $100 US. And make sure you're subscribed, because I'm gonna be putting all of these earbuds under $100 into a scoring spreadsheet like I've done with my premium earbuds, so stay tuned for that. It's getting extra picky here in 2024. Now, all the buds on this ranking do have noise canceling except for the Soundpeats Engine 4. So I've got the Air 2 ranked in the 5th spot, but honestly, it's super close. All these earbuds sound good. It's just, I'm trying to roughly rank them here. The EarFun Free Pro 3 just wins when it comes to soundstage and treble sparkle. Despite that, it's a pretty similar tuning to the Air 2. The Liberty 4 NC is twice the price of the Air 2, so not really a fair comparison. The Moondrop Space Treble is giving you a more balanced tuning with much better instrument separation and mid-range clarity. But you only get 3 EQ presets on them, minimal control customization, you don't get multi-point, no wireless charging, and no high-res codecs. Now the Soundpeats Air 4 Pro does give you all the features that Air 2 has except wireless charging. The Air 4 do have noise cancelling, but you actually get control customization on the Air 2, and the EQ is much better. So depending on the price, if you need noise cancelling or not, the Air 4 Pro might be worth it for you. Now the big comparison here is going to be between the Air 2 and the Soundpeats Engine 4, since they're pretty similar buds spec-wise, and they also don't have noise cancelling. But the Engine 4 overall still giving you the best sound quality you can get under $100. Just slightly better in every way, a punchier bass response, better mid-range clarity, and treble detail. But is it a night and day difference? Definitely not. And the issues with the Engine 4 is a pretty rough app support. The buds are quite bulky, they don't seem to fit everyone that well. The Air 2 gives you the more compact case, it's a smaller earbud, it should fit more people a lot easier, and you get the wireless charging. Again, like I said at the start, there's no real faults at the price you're paying. So if you don't need noise cancelling, you want to save some money, you just want a good all-around earbud, the Air 2 is my go-to bud right now. But if you are interested in slightly better sound, check out my Engine 4 review right here. In the meantime, stay picky. I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.